Hey everyone, welcome back. Today's verse comes from Proverbs 2, verse 7, and his word states, He grants a treasure of common sense to the honest. He is a shield to those who walk with integrity. I remember growing up, I used to complain so much and so often to my mom about people's lack of common sense. I wouldn't understand how they would make decisions and make their lives based off of whatever nonsense they were thinking about. And sometimes that sounds a little harsh, but trust me, it would upset me a lot when people made these decisions. Getting something that was actual logical, they wouldn't make that decision. They would make another decision and then they would complain about the results that they got based off of their faulty decision. See, it really used to upset me, and it kind of still does because there are so many people that lack common sense. Yet, back then and still now, actually, I do it by myself now, but back then she always used to tell me that common sense was not common. And at that time, I didn't fully understand. Sometimes I still kind of don't understand it. Now, the more I've walked closer and closer to God, the more I've realized, the more I understood what this means, the more I walk closer to my Creator, the more I understand that common sense really isn't common. Why? I understand it more because I understand that it's a treasure that He gives to us. Now, looking back, I realized that even as a kid, even as I was growing up, even as I was looking at other stuff and not doing exactly what God intended for me to do, I literally see that I was blessed. Blessed with common sense. God had given me at an early age wisdom and discernment that He gave me through my parents because they taught me how to live properly, because they gave me, respect and discernment and actual instructions on how to live. See, these areas, as I was growing up, my parents kept molding me the way that God intended for them to mold me. And it actually helped me because it saved me from so many bad decisions. The discernment saved me from bad friendships. The discernment saved me from doing things that would have harmed other people around me. The wisdom saved me from all of these things that other people did at my age that led to broken bones, to disappointed parents, all these stuff, right? And I used to not understand it. And I used to say, well, these people don't have common sense. But see, common sense isn't common sense for everyone. Everyone has different ways that they grew up and they are taught different things. But we should all have the same common sense when we all come from the same Father. When our Father is God, Jesus Christ actually gives us the discernment, the wisdom, and everything that comes through Him. So our common sense should be the common sense of the kingdom. Our common sense has to be the one that God gives to us. So I realized that as I walk with Him, my common sense differs from what my common sense used to be back then. It differs in the sense of there are things that I used to think were common and were okay to do that I now don't think that they're common or right to do because God doesn't abide in those things. God doesn't dwell in those things. But see, as I was growing up, I believed that that was common sense. Now, when I read the Bible, I read this word, a treasure of common sense. See, it just clicked immediately when I read that word, treasure. It is a treasure. Common sense is something to be valued and to be protected. But the only one that actually gives us common sense is God. The only one that gives us wisdom and discernment is God. So we have to, whatever He gives freely to us, we actually have to treasure it. We actually have to protect it. We actually have to value it. See, even though we receive it freely, we don't automatically get to keep it. You can receive something freely, but if you don't protect it and if you don't value it, what happens to those gifts that people give to you that you don't protect or value? They get tossed in the trash. And that is the same thing. God can give you wisdom and discernment that one day because you require it, but if you don't treasure it, you're going to lose what He already gave you. Now, I'm not talking about salvation. I'm talking about wisdom and discernment, which is different. Salvation, people say, can't be lost, and that's another topic for another time. But God gives us wisdom freely. All we have to do is come seek it from Him. All we have to do is search, and He will give us what we're looking for. But we also have to value and treasure it so that we're able to keep everything that He gave to us. We keep it by investing in it, by learning even more about what He's revealed to us, by actually again and again coming back to Him. Coming back to Him, to His word, so that we can get more wisdom, so that we can get more discernment, so that we can grow more and more in the spiritual ways that He wants us to grow. See, if he gives me common sense today, but I throw it away the next day, then I'm not doing anything with it. And I'm actually losing it. And I'm actually going to be less wise, less discerning with everything that's to come because he's already taken everything that he gave me that one day. So it makes sense for us to keep investing in the wisdom of the kingdom, to keep investing in the discernment that the Lord has for each and every one of us. But again, what happens is this takes humility and this takes honesty. It takes humility because we must humble ourselves before the Lord, knowing that we know nothing unless he reveals it to us, knowing that even what other people think that they have revelation of, it doesn't really matter unless it came from the Lord. And it takes honesty because we have to be honest with ourselves, knowing that we also don't have anything that we have by ourselves. Everything is gotten from the King. Everything is gotten from the Lord. Everything that he has created is so that we are able to grow in it and with it. Obviously, if we're prideful, what happens? Well, the same thing that happened to the enemy. If we're prideful, we think that we already know everything. We think that we're equals to God. We think that we don't need to learn anything from God. And that is exactly what happens. We don't learn anything that God tries to teach us if we become prideful. Why? Because a prideful person doesn't want to learn. They believe they know everything, every rule, every knock, everything that they think that they believe that they know, but they really don't. See, they are prideful because their heart has become hardened because they think that they know more than God who created literally everything. That's not true. That in terms leads them to dishonesty. See, it leads them to dishonesty because they start shutting the Lord. They start rejecting the Lord. They start doing the things that doesn't, look like the Lord. They start walking their own paths. They have now become prideful and now they're dishonest with both themselves and with the Lord. See, dishonesty is a place that the Lord doesn't dwell in because the Lord does not dwell in lies. The Lord is truth. So because he is truth, he cannot dwell in your lie. So you can lie to others and you can lie to yourself, but you can never lie to God. And when dishonesty and pride take a hold of your heart, you're now not able to learn more, to be wiser, to gain the common sense that he has for you and I. And that's why it's important, because in both cases, what happens is the Lord doesn't lose anything. He is still wise. He still has discernment. He is still just. He is still honest. He is still humble. Because the Lord is still humble, even though he's the greatest of all greatest things. So in both cases, who ends up losing is us. We lose the wisdom that the Lord wants to give us. We lose the discernment that the Lord wants to give us. We lose the common sense that the Lord is willing to give us so that we treasure it and so that we can walk in that treasure that he's given to us. See, wisdom is a gift, but it also has to be earned. What do I mean by this? By those that want to earn it, those actually who ask, those actually who listen, and those actually that obey his word. See, when you ask for the Lord to give you wisdom, he actually shows you through his word the wisdom that he wants to give you. So you ask and then you listen to his word. You listen to what he says about you. You listen to what he says about the world. You listen to what he wants you to learn. You listen to him. You don't listen to anyone else in the world. Actually listen to him and what he wants to reveal over your life. And then you don't only ask and listen, you then obey what his word says, and you keep obeying what his word says. See, your mind has a battlefield, and if you don't obey, you are losing a foothold to the enemy. You are losing a foothold to somebody that knows the word and will actually twist it so that you can fall away from the Lord, so that you can walk away from the Lord. He can twist the word as much as he wants, because if you don't have wisdom, if you don't have integrity, if you don't walk in humility and honesty with the Lord, you are always going to be prideful and you're always going to be dishonest with yourself until you start switching what the word says for what you want the word to say. And that's why it's important. See, later on says, when you walk in integrity, and then a person that walks in integrity walks in honesty, walks in humility, walks with the Lord and obeys what the Lord wants them to do, because that's what being a person of integrity is. So those people are also protected by the Lord. He becomes a shield to these person. He becomes a shield of protection so that he can protect them both in spirit and in human form. In our day to day, he protects us daily as we walk in integrity with him, because he protects us from so many things that could harm us that we don't even see sometimes. And yet he still protects us. See, the Lord is always good to those who trust him. The Lord is always good to those who walk with him. Those that have integrity in their heart are the ones that the Lord wants to walk with. Those who are humble and not prideful. Those who are honest and not dishonest. Those are the people that the Lord wants to walk with. See, your mind and body can be protected by the Lord when you obey him, when you walk with him, when you look like him, when you accept Jesus, truly accept Jesus, which means there will be a change. You will no longer need to be prideful nor dishonest. You can come to him in humility and honesty and ask him for the wisdom that you so need, because we need that wisdom. We have become prideful, we have become arrogant, and we have become dishonest to ourselves, thinking that we don't need anything from the Lord, when in reality, the only common sense that you gain is from the Lord revealing himself, all that is common, so that you can walk in his kingdom promises, so that you can walk the way that he wants you to walk. Your mind and body are a battlefield. Whether you lose or win depend on who you're following. And if you're following the Lord will protect you. If you remain in his word, he will protect you. And if you learn more about him, he can protect you in every way, shape, or form. He is a leader, and he will lead you to the place of the promise. He will lead you if you allow him to lead you. But you have to allow him to lead you. You have to allow him to be your common sense. Remember, the word says true wisdom begins with the fear of the Lord. And we know that fear is reverence. That fear is reverence to the Lord, respect to the Lord. When we reverence and we respect his word, we become the children that he wants us to become. And we can raise up this rest of the journey with him. We can rest up in him. We can learn more from him, and we can be more like him, as he's always wanted us to be. Thank you so much for listening. God bless.